Margaret, Senator Black.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. I just really want to bring a couple of things into the chamber today. It's really, the first one is yesterday in the AV room, I attended a very informative and disturbing film by Richard O'Donnell, and it was called The Atlantic. The film is a reminder of the mismanagement of Irish natural resources. It highlights the devastation of our coastal communities by the fishing quotas imposed from Brussels and the exploitation of our waters by super trawlers, which are allowed to operate without adequate scrutiny off our coasts. A worrying feature was the contrast between the Norwegian government's stance on maintaining control of their resources and doing deals for the benefit of their people, and the contrast with their situation where our natural resources were surrendered to big business. Jerry, a fisherman who was in the documentary, said that the Irish fishermen feel unrepresented by politicians and see super trawlers devastate fish stocks while they are tied up in port because of quotas. In one stance, 4,000 tonnes of fresh herring were dumped in the sea from a Dutch factory ship as they were not of the required size for processing. Such a waste. This is a criminal waste of perfectly good food and will lead to the devastation of our fish stocks. Contrast this with the arrest of Jerry from Arranmore and Donegal for having a net with the potential for catching salmon. There is a definite need for the scrutiny of these super trawlers. This should be done by insisting that each boat has an inspector on board to ensure they are adhering to the rules. In Newfoundland and Norway, O'Donnell saw very different politicians in comparison to the Irish counterparts. They were very strong on natural resources and had stood up against big powerful interests and fought for their local communities. O'Donnell says, "I don't know if it's a historical thing or a cultural thing in Ireland, but we seem to turn our backs on the ocean and undervalue our coastal communities." I recommend that every single politician here in Leinster House make it their business to see this film and see the devastation of our coastal communities and the loss of our fishing heritage. This proud fishing tradition handed down through the generations is now in danger of being lost because, again, of greed. And I would like to know also why there was not one representation from our government at that film yesterday. There wasn't one person there. And I just think it's horrendous to see that man, Jerry, was there yesterday himself. His father, an 84-year-old fisherman, was also there. And they were talking about their culture and their heritage and how now, in the old days, this fishing tradition was passed on down to the next generation, and now his 17-year-old son wasn't a fisherman. And it's just a disgrace, and I really, really think this needs to be addressed and it needs to be highlighted, and more needs to be done for our fishermen in this country. It's one of our top cultures and it's one of our traditions, and it's vital that we look after the fishermen in this country.
Margaret, Senator O'Leary.